Hey folks, how you doing out there? Darren Scorza here with another drink and a wink. Sorry to start this off so distracted like. I just did a video and for some reason there was some problems with the fact that we were having some sound issues. So I recorded a 20-minute video with no sound. I'm going to actually pull myself up right here on my iPad and see and make sure that I'm hearing myself. Here on my iPad and see and make sure that I'm hearing myself. Here on my iPad. Okay, before that loops out, we're going to let that go. All right, we're getting sound this time. So today I'm going to talk to you a little bit. I haven't been here since since Thanksgiving when we talked about one of my favorite all-time value, but good quality, indicative or exemplary single malt Scotch whiskeys, and we did this rating of the original. Literally, the Glenmorangie original 10-year-old, and what they have done recently, which is upgraded that 2 years, and jacked the price $5 up. This is $5 up, $5. All right. I've already had a tasting, so I'm a little bit mellow, and I've had a very long day today. They repaired the heat in the room in which I teach. Not my office, but close enough, over at the university, and I think I expended a lot of energy providing heat for myself. Is that how that's said? I think I'm all over the place. Let me quit a few apps here so I don't get the... No, I'm going to get it anyway. Anyway, so we talked about Glenmorangie. This is still under $40, just under, and you know, if you're asking me what's the first single malt Scotch whiskey I should have on my shelf, this would be it. Glenmorangie, now originally 10, now 12, just ex-bourbon cask finish, nice quality. It is from a big distillery, one of the biggest selling bottles ever, but they decided to change it. Can't go wrong with that. The other things I've talked about are some inexpensive options if you want to get into finished whiskey. Okay, it's very hard for me these days to mention anything in single malt Scotch whiskey that's now going to be under this price tag, $40. I don't know if Glenfiddich's 12 has gone up above that, but that's another good. But again, that's just ex-bourbon cask finish. I did mention in a text post that Glenmorangie has a bunch of finished single malt Scotch whiskeys. No age statement. You know, you can get from port. You can get a sherry cask. It's a good example. Not the best whiskey in the world. Not bad though. Quality's there. And if you're going to get some no age statement value whiskeys, just try finishing. This is a good way to go. These are all like $25 generally. Okay. But again, that's not going to be like, oh, this is great. This is fine whiskey. It's just good whiskey. Relatively good quality. For the money that you are getting your nose, mouth, and head around finished whiskey, meaning it started off as aged in ex-bourbon barrels, and then they finish it in a different cask, like port, like sherry, like a different kind of wine. Okay? However, since I was on this theme of affordable entryways to get into your single malt Scotch whiskey experience, again, some of you have been on this a long time and you're like, scores, I already know what's going on. But I think we've all noticed that the prices are going up on all these things. And not only in our, it seems like there's a trend now that now a lot of companies are taking, where it used to be their bottom core range was a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old. Now they're raising those prices up a little bit and then giving us a no age statement thing with a fancy name or a weird name or an engaging name. Okay, so we talked about ex-bourbon, okay, the standard bearer of all single malt Scotch whiskey, ex-bourbon barrel cask aged single malt Scotch whiskey. We talked about finishing. What about that? You know, the pride of Scotland, Islay and peated single malt Scotch whiskey. Peated whiskey, okay, in case you're not familiar with that, is where they end the germination process in a different way. Okay, I'm gonna have myself a sunflower seed. This is gonna come back. All right, I got a nice pack of sunflower seeds. We'll talk about that in a second. When they're making single malt Scotch whiskey, okay, malt means that it is malted barley, 100% malted barley. That is a process where they hot water saturate the ground up materials, and then when that happens, it starts to sprout. Okay, sunflower seed starts to sprout, and then the when it starts to sprout, they have to stop that, or then they're going to lose it. The sprouting gives it a different kind of sugar and enzymes and flavor all across the board. That's the whole process of single malt Scotch whiskey, is malting the barley. So this bottle, everything to the to my left shoulder in this Scotch whiskey range is unpeated. So they stop that germination by just lighting a fire underneath. It could just be charcoal, it could be wood. Nowadays it's mostly an electric or electric fire. Okay, so that's how they end that. Done. Then it goes on to the next step of processing. When it comes to peated whiskey, they're not adding dirt. Okay, what they do is they take peat bricks. This is not a peat brick. This is my wife's handbag. But it kind of looks like this in both color and size. They're actually a little bit more bigger, a little bigger. Okay, peat bricks, and they put it underneath this wet, sprouting, just barely sprouting malted barley. Or it's not malted yet; it's malting. So they lay it out in kind of what you would think of as maybe like a screen. Okay, the whole floor, malting floor, is this long floor that looks like a screen, and then they heat it up. This is just like smoking something with a particular type of wood. Okay, the peat has a kind of, some say iodine, some say medicinal, some say seaweed, some say all of that, some say kind of, dried leaves, all kinds of different flavors the peat adds, and that's how they do it. It's great. I love it. I have 12 bottles of various peated whiskeys over here. Michelle likes some of them. It's not all Scotch whiskey, but it's a really cold day like this. This is perfect. However, it's very hard now to find you a bottle that you can buy and not break the bank. Okay, and even the one I'm going to recommend, it's not cheap anymore. In the old days, like I said, we would grab ourselves we would grab a bottle of Ardbeg 10, okay, or Lefroy 10. I don't know where it's hiding. Oh, it's right. No, it's back there. And we'd buy that for $60. In the maybe 2-3 years ago, especially in the COVID times, it seemed like you could buy. I probably have 15 bottles of single malt Scotch whiskey there that are between the 10 and 12 year range, and were purchased for like $60. Now all those are raising in price. Now Ardbeg 10 is closer to 70. I don't know if Lefroy 10 is up there, but Lefroy is more interested in giving you a no age statement product that is, in my opinion, inferior, and it's also at 40%. I don't want that. What I want is good quality whiskey at an affordable price. It's harder to find in the peated arena than in the other areas, except for one. So a while back, when I was starting kind of branching out, there were two companies that came to mind. One was Lecheg, who had an excellent 10-year-old product somewhere over there, and then the Rioja cask finish, which was a no-age statement product. That was from the Isle of Mull. It's not from the classic peated whiskey island of Islay. That's what we're going to talk about today. Okay, on Islay, I don't know how many distilleries there are now. I can't remember. There's another one. I can't remember. But that's the home of Lefroy, Lagavulin, Bowmore, Ardbeg, as I just mentioned, Bruichladdich, Kalila, Bunnahabhain, even though that one is not typically a peated bottling, one of my favorites of all time. Okay, and then in 2005, this company appeared called Kilchoman. Okay, I'm going to eat another sunflower seed. The sunflower seeds, I promise, are not a distraction. They're going to come back. And Kilchoman, it kind of reminds me. It's like I'm always fond of that distillery out in DeKalb, Whiskey Acres, because they're a seed to spirit or grain to glass kind of distillery. Kilchoman is in the same way in that they are doing everything on Islay, and it's a farm distillery. Okay, I'm going to post the website out. It's a lot of fun to check it out. It's a young distillery, like I said, 2005. so they don't have a lot of old state age kind of stuff. All right, and good, that beeping stopped. So they came out with some different products along the way, but then about maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I don't know how long this has been out, but this Machir Bay, which is a no age statement peated whiskey, bottled here in the States at 46% ABV, came out and it was really starting to grab some attention. Okay, and for good reason. This is a very, very nice, flavorful, refined single malt Scotch whiskey. Yes, it has. It doesn't have a. No, it does not have an age statement on there. We'll move past that because they're telling us it's 5 years, and the quality, it doesn't matter. Okay, it does taste a little young, but there's this refining kind of vibe that really is really cool. Now let me bring it into the taste profile. The other thing I wanted to mention was a lot of times when I'm talking about taste profile, there's all different kinds of profiles. You can talk about floral, we could talk about breakfast spices, you know what those are. We could talk about like darker spices, you know, pepper and nutmeg and clove. We can talk about, you know, dark fruits. We can talk about ripe fruits and bright fruits and citrus like the Glenmorangie Original has. But there was one flavor that when I mention it, sometimes I've mentioned this quite a bit. I don't know if everybody knows what I'm talking about, and that is sunflower. Sunflower is fun. I will not eat sunflower seeds for like a year. It's kind of like candy corn. Like I only eat candy corn, and I love it right around Halloween. And about a week later, I'm like, I can't stand candy corn. I don't have that kind of relationship with sunflower seeds, but I don't eat them all the time. Then I'll buy a bag, then I'll buy another and another. Okay, so that's what I like about sunflower seeds. And to me, I'm not talking about flavored ones. I'm even talking about taking the shell off and not considering the salt in there. To me, I get, especially in a single malt Scotch whiskey, where it hasn't been aged in a bourbon barrel for like that sweet vibe, I get sunflower in a lot of single malt Scotch whiskey, especially peated whiskey. It's a flavor that's very different from the nuttiness of bourbon, which is more our typical peanuts, cashews, walnut kind of flavors, even macadamia nuts and some things. Sunflower is very distinct, and it's a flavor that if you don't recognize, you should get some sunflower seeds, get them even shelled, and just get the taste. Try to get them, not too salty. Get that vibe. You're going to start seeing that in your whiskey. I see it in some bourbons. I get it in some bourbons, and actually I like that because I'm not the biggest like sweet nut. Sweet nut. Am I a sweet nut, Michelle?
Are you a sweet nut?
Yeah.
Yeah, most of the time.
All right. Let's back to the single malt Scotch whiskey. Kilchoman. This is peated. This one, which is called Machir Bay, okay, is primarily aged in ex-bourbon barrels. Just a little bit of sherry. Look at that. This is the way that Scotch whiskey is supposed to look. It's not supposed to be rich in gold, and that means that it's either been colored or who knows, okay? But that's a different color. Red is cool in a single malt Scotch. Just blatant gold caramel color is not. I'll tip that up. See that? That's really gorgeous. No age statement, but it gives you all this kind of information. You can scan on that and get more information. They give you kind of grids and all kinds of stuff. Very fun. Okay, but again, kind of modern packaging with a barcode and all that, but using old farm-like kind of distilling. On the nose, I get lots of nice Islay peat, little seaweedy, but there's a little bit medicinal. This is more in the Islay seaweed and seaside camp than charcoal fire, for sure. That does not mean it smells like fish. It just has that note. The sunflower is there in the nose. Barley. Smells young, but at 46%, I'm getting no burn in the nose. On the taste, just wonderfully balanced. Barley sugar, nice hit of peat after that hits. The peat doesn't hit your tongue right away. sunflower, a little bit of lemon, maybe a little bit of olive oil in an odd way, peppery. On the finish, a little bit of lemon. On the finish, that's where the short amount of time. It has to be 3 years. It's probably rumored to be 5 to 6 with Kilchoman Machir. That's where a little bit of that bourbon cask comes through. Maybe a little thin on the end. That's the one thing, but the sunflower is what wraps it up. This is a wonderful bottle. No age statement. You'll have to get past that if you're kind of nuts about having old age statement stuff. Can't afford it. It's not always that great. And the companies that are putting out these older age statements, sometimes they're great. That 17-year-old Tobermory is one of the best whiskeys I've ever had in my life. There's others. Anyway, get past it. Here's the best part. Yeah, nothing is cheap now. Everything has been already raised in price a little bit by about 10 to 15% in the single malt Scotch whiskey area. Only about 3 or 4 distilleries and one distribution company has not jacked the prices up recently. This is one of them. Right now, this is suggested retail price at $60. I'm finding it on sale quite a bit, $54.99. If you are trying to find an entryway to peated whiskey, you really want to get the definitive. I used to say Ardbeg 10, Lefroy 10. Those are going to cost you $70 now. All right. I know the difference between 60 and 70 is not that big, but it could even be higher. I don't know. I just find that this is very interesting to me. Orgos, I know what those taste like. I like this a lot. Like I said, this is on sale. Really nice. Also, 46%. I don't know what Ardbeg 10 is now. This used to be, 47. Or no, that's not Ardbeg 10. That's would be Beastie. Ardbeg 10. It can't be 46 because they would have it more visible. No, it is 46. Okay. Well, I don't know. I would check that, but this is very, very cool. Really like it. Check it out. Like I said, you can get it on sale. You might be getting $55. Kilchoman has many other offerings now. Now that I said they're in 2000. They started in 2005. Now they do have some older age statement things. They have 12 and 13-year-olds. They're obviously not going to have 25. You can do math. Another one that we really like, that really caught on, if all this bourbon, just this lightweight bourbon stuff is not your liking, which it shouldn't be. This is really delicious. A refined single malt Scotch whiskey that's peated that you'll keep drinking. It's got a nice refined vibe. Is there Kilchoman Seneg? This caught a lot of attention. If this is like 95% ex-bourbon with a little bit of sherry, this is the opposite math, and you can see the color difference. Look at that. Remember how I said how red is good if it's sherry finished? Look at that. Unbelievable. This Seneg always is $10 more than this one. And I saw this one on sale, so this would be $64. This one is just. I've had a couple of sherried peated whiskey, so that's the note on that. This is one of the best I've ever had. Okay, so if you're into that vibe, some people hate that. They just want the peat, but peat and sherried finish. This is just, it's just so good. In my journey of Kilchoman, I probably won't get another bottle of this. I'll probably either go up and try to find one of their age statement ones next, or something else. I know that Warehouse Liquors has some special bottlings of that. If I ever have money again, maybe that's what I'll get next. Stay tuned. I probably won't replace this one. I kind of want to replace this one. Like I see, we're about a little bit over halfway. That one is a really good one. But what you pick, this is the journey that this is the task. You could say, you know what? No, I don't want any of it. But if you want to get into peated Scotch whiskey, you got $60 lying around. You could do really good on this. I just can't recommend the bigger name companies because they keep on jacking up the prices, and I don't know the quality is really good. Like I said, they kind of took their aged products of 10 or 12, upped them 10%, 15%, and then they are offering that for sure is one. That no age statement. I can't remember the name of it from Lafroig is. All right, doesn't get very good reviews. Check your ABVs. You'll get that. The only other one that I might mention is the Ardbeg Wee Beastie, bottled at 5-year-old and bottled at 47.4%. This one was put up head-to-head, purposely head-to-head with the other peated young age whiskey, Lagavulin 8, which I think we have here. But they put out this so people that don't have trust funds could buy a Lagavulin on a regular basis, because then they jacked up Lagavulin 16 to $150 here in the States. That has come back down, but is now higher than it used to be. Anyway, Wee Beastie came out, I'm sure, when these young age statement peated whiskeys came out. The only thing that I would say, they're about the same price. If this one, they're about the same price. Okay, let's put it that way. This one might be a little cheaper, actually. What's the difference? This one is a refined version. It's a farm product. It's really good. This one literally says a monster of a dram. It's called Wee Beastie. It's a belter, okay? And this one, there's so much dark creosote and dark chocolate, and it kind of, this is for like peat heads, okay? That's what they're called. This is really, really good, all right? But it's not for like, this is not the first peated whiskey you have, because you may love it, and I will create a monster, literally, a Wee Beastie that goes out and buys or you're going to hate peated whiskey, and I don't want you to do that. This would be a much better move. As we kind of cruise into Christmas and the holidays in general, I'm going to start talking a little bit more about my pick of the year. As you know, I did not buy a ton of bottles this year, but we have a few good ones. The one that's probably going to win is covered up right now by the live button, so that's kind of fun, actually. I haven't found anything that is beating that. If you guys know my shelf by enough, single malt Scotch whiskey, bourbon, rye and other Americans, and then tequila's over there, Irish whiskey, and blended scotches on the bottom. So that gives you a little hint. That's probably what's going to win. But we might talk about the contenders going forward. Included in that will be Lagavulin's Nick Offerman's Caribbean Cask Edition, which I rather enjoyed, and felt buying it on sale felt like it was a good value. But yeah, that now is like $90 now, I think. So we're gonna do that. I put my boxes away. Michelle's bugged that I had to do this video twice, and I can't blame her because she had a long day with a gig and a drive downtown, and our car acting a little weird. If anybody's got a Subaru, she had a thing where, like, you know, that recent Subaru has that automatic shutoff when they're at a stoplight. She did that, and the blind spot light went on. I don't know if that's what happens, but she says she couldn't get the car to restart. So it might have been a glitch in the system. She might have hit a button, because there's tons of buttons in there that you can accidentally hit. Anyway, and ours is a 2020. Okay, I think, I lost my train of thought. Sorry. I think we're going to go into this. Let me know what you might want to talk about. Maybe, since we know that the prices are going up, maybe I should do a couple of gift ideas that would probably be talking about. I don't know if I can talk about bourbon. I'm still kind of bourbon blight from September. But maybe I will. But maybe I'll talk a little bit about maybe some Irish and Scotch, maybe some Irish and blended Scotch options that won't break the bank. That would be nice gifts for somebody. That sounds like a good idea. All right, so that's where I'm going to kind of pull next, and then we'll start talking about the end of the year. I can't believe we're like less than a month, and I'm going to be naming my whiskey experience of the year. As always, if you've made it to the end of this, please post your ideas too. If you had something this year, remember the rules. I did kind of put a poll up, and I might put another poll up. Remember the rules. It does not have to be brand new whiskey. Obviously, something that's 25 years old is not going to be brand new whiskey. Brand new to you in 2024. Okay. It would have been better, brand new to you in 2022. But we're in 2024. Brand new to you, meaning this is the first time you ever bought it. If you think you had a really nice experience, doesn't that mean the best whiskey you ever drank? And remember, the term is whiskey experience of the year. Okay? I already kind of pretty much know what I'm going to pick. It's kind of fun that when I bought that, I bought it from the store that a good friend of mine works at. And I also bought it because I bought it for my birthday. So, like I said, I'm not giving anything away, but that's what I'm probably going to do. Down on the farm. That's a hint. Okay, I'm going to go eat some food and more sunflower seeds. And maybe if I have any, maybe a little candy corn. I'm not sure. Michelle, do we have any candy